Welcome to this section of Part 1, titled Verses. The relationship between disciple and spiritual master is one of the heart, but one must also understand the science of who is a bona fide spiritual master. There have always been those who pose as an advanced teacher, and their disciples follow them because of material sentiment or ulterior motives such as fame or the property of the spiritual teacher. In the Parampara system, the instructions taken from the bona fide spiritual master must be based on revealed Vedic scriptures. One who is in the line of disciplic succession cannot manufacture their own ideas. There are many so-called followers in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who do not scrupulously follow the conclusions of the Shastras, and therefore they are considered to be Upper Sampradaya, which means outside of the Sampradaya. The purpose of this series is to present scriptural descriptions and evidence in order to give a foundation of knowledge. Of the innumerable verses found throughout the Vedic literature on this subject of why we need a bona fide spiritual master, I have chosen just 13 verses and placed them under 6 headings. 1. The duty of every human being. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 25, 1-2, it is stated, "It is therefore the duty of every man in every country, in every circumstance, and at all times, to approach the bona fide spiritual master, question him about devotional service, and listen to him explain the process." Srimad Bhagavatam 6:16-6. The difficulty is to obtain a bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. Therefore, the duty of a human being is to capture the opportunity to come in touch with Krishna's representative, the bona fide spiritual master. Under the guidance of the spiritual master, the spiritual father, one can return home back to Godhead. 2. One cannot approach Krishna directly. In the Nectar of Devotion it states, in the Adi Leela Purana, there is the following statement by Lord Krishna himself addressed to Arjuna. "My dear Partha, one who claims to be my devotee is not so. Only a person who claims to be the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee." In the Srimad Bhagavatam 6:11-24, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, and he also showed by his own example, that a living entity should always desire to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. This means that one must accept a spiritual master who comes in disciplic succession and is a servant of the Lord. 3. Without a spiritual master, it is impossible to begin understanding Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 11:54. One who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. For one who does not take personal training under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. 4. The light of knowledge is given by the spiritual master. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 18:99. One must see things as they are through the mercy of a spiritual master. Otherwise, if one tries to see Krishna directly, he may mistake an ordinary man for Krishna, or Krishna for an ordinary man. Everyone has to see Krishna according to the verdict of Vedic literatures presented by the self-realized spiritual master. A sincere person is able to see Krishna through the transparent medium of Gurudev, the spiritual master. Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. 5. Scripture without the realized spiritual master is ineffectual. The Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.1 states, unless one inquires about his own self beyond the body and the mind, all his activities in human life are total failures. Therefore, out of thousands and thousands of men, one may inquire about his spirit self and thus consult the revealed scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. But in spite of reading and hearing such scriptures, unless one is in touch with a realized spiritual master, he cannot actually realize the real nature of the self, and so on. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 7:48. The real import of the scriptures is revealed to one who has unflinching faith in both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master. Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Number 6. One must accept a bona fide spiritual master and act under their direction. In the Krishna book, it states, the personified Vedas prayed, our dear Lord, although great mystic yogis may have full control over the elephant of the mind and the hurricane of the senses, unless they take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, they fall victims to the material influence and never become successful in their attempts at self-realization. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:4-10. A serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who is not only well versed in the Vedic literatures, but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a devotee spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental science of the Lord. The Nectar of Devotion. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada tells Maharaj Nimi, "My dear king, please know for certain that in the material world there is no happiness. It is simply a mistake to think that there is happiness here, because this place is full of nothing but miserable conditions. Any person who is seriously desirous of achieving real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation." This concludes the 13 verses on why we need to seek out a bona fide spiritual master. Namaste.
Hare Krishna.